today we're talking about what we call logical levels of change or just levels of change. Now, the reason I want to share this today is because, and I will post a little diagram in the comment section. It's not something that I'm able to show here now, but you can go and Google it, you'll see it. There's a natural way of how change happens in our lives. And many of the problems that we experience in our lives is as a result of confusion between these levels. Or people think they have a problem on a specific level and they make the change on that level only. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of confusion. And the whole thing is that if you can make the change on a higher level, chances of sustaining that change in your life will be far better than if you only make a change on one single level. So the different levels are, look at it like a little pyramid. At the bottom you get what we call your environment, right? And and I'll explain a little bit now in a bit, just getting my notes here, explain a little, just a bit about why it won't work to make a change on a level if it's not going to serve you, right? So at the bottom you have your environment, and when you want to understand if there's a problem in that environment or that level, you can ask the questions: when and where am I, right? What's going on where I am? Who are the people around me? Just above that is what we call behavior, and what we get the level of behavior. And then you can ask for yourself, what can I do differently? What will I do differently in my life? Then just above that is the level of capabilities and skills. So once you've identified what you will do differently, then you want to ask yourself, all right, what skills and capabilities do I need to do something better, or to do whatever it is I want to do differently, right? Many people make a decision on behavior level and they say, okay, what do I want to do differently? I want to wake up every single morning and go for a jog. But they never think about the skills and capabilities they need in order to implement that change. They might not know where to start. Do they run around the block or the neighborhood? Do they follow a program? Do they have the right shoes? You know, all sorts of things. Do they have the right clothes? Do they have warm clothes, especially in the winter? Do they know that they can get thermal clothes to feel more comfortable outside? That's all part of skills and capabilities in order to implement the behavior. Then just above that, just above the skills and capabilities, you get what we call values and beliefs. And then there is about what is important in life, what's really making you tick, what are your beliefs and your values that you want to live your life by. So now you can think like, right, now you have the skills and capabilities. So let's say you do not believe in anything related to running. It's now a silly example. If you do not believe it, or let's say if you do not believe, this is a better example, if you do not believe that you can do it, you will never be able to do it. You will never be able to implement that behavior, right? Doesn't matter what skills and capabilities you get. You have to believe that you can do it. Just above that is the identity level. Who am I? So here's where I talk a lot with clients about who do they say they are and who do they want to be. If you do not start to tell yourself you are a runner, it's going to be very hard to implement all of those changes right through the pyramid, right? And at the top is what we call vision. Some people call it spiritual. It's where you are part of a bigger vision, bigger group. You belong to something bigger than just yourself, and it can be something different for every person. For one person it might be their church, for another person it might be like they're part of a family or a big community. So it's just about that, what part of the bigger society are you part of. Now, there's a natural way how change happens, and most problems, as I said, result in because of confusion between these levels. So when we make a change on the higher level, it generally will changes everything from the top down. It does not work from the bottom up. So if you want to make an identity change of who you are and things you believe in, just to change your environment there at the bottom is not going to work. There might be instances where it might work, but generally it doesn't. And that is why, for example, if we also talk about the top side of the pyramid, where we talk about the spiritual, your bigger purpose, that is where we often say that if an awakening is happening there or happened there, it's easy for people to implement whatever it is based on that awakening. That's why you want to invite people to church, because if they have that awakening experience, it's much easier for them to implement changes in their life, right? Because it happened at the top. Now, with the research they did, obviously, then it tells us that the higher you make the change on these levels, the more neurologically committed you will be, and the more unconscious it will become. So just changing your environment is difficult because it's not going to teach you to repeat things. It's not going to become a skill. Remember, in some of the earlier videos, I've explained that the only way something becomes a skill is you have to repeat it often enough so that it becomes part of your unconscious behavior. And here's why you want to know this stuff. You want to identify the level of frustration that you're on so that you can implement the right change in your life. Many people think they are making a change on a higher level when in fact they're not, because they're asking, if you ask yourself these questions, it will be easier for you to make sure you make the change on the right level. So let me explain it to you this way. Somebody might decide they want to change, they want to lose weight. So what they do in the environmental level is they throw out all of the junk food out of the house. That's it. But still, they do not have the skills and capabilities to implement that change. Their behavior is still as such that they still go out to the shop to go and buy junk food every evening. They don't believe that they can do it. So none of this will actually stick because they haven't made the change on the higher levels. A great example, especially if you are a manager, is when you have an employee that comes to you and tell you, I'm not happy, and I want something more exciting, and I want something that's more challenging for me. And now you give the employee a new role, and you might even give them a salary increase. And after 6 months, they come and they hand in their resignation because they're still not. And you're like furious because why the heck you give everything to these employees, but they just are never happy. And it is because the employee have not made the change on the right level. And you as a manager can use these questions to help the employee through that process to understand what it is that the employee really needs. Because if you put the employee in a new role and even give them a salary increase, and they on a belief level still do not believe that this will push their career forward, or even they might not believe that they can do the job, anything in that regard, skills and capabilities, they might not have the skills and capabilities for this new role. So if any of the top levels are not there and it's solid, because all you've done is you've just changed the employee's environment, and 6 months later they're going to come back with the same complaint. They're bored, they're looking for another job. So this is extremely useful. Go through this hierarchy, even with your employees, to understand them better, and even in your own life. If you want to make some changes, make sure you answer these questions all the way to the top and see what you get to. I'll speak to you guys tomorrow. Bye.